Somebody asked, how do we change the eye color of a priest? Evidently, they didn't like that if they go to map options and they assign map options to be Reign of Chaos data, that their priest, it looks like it has blue eyes, and it looks like the sorceress has blue eyes in their icon, but then I put them in the world and they seem to have green eyes, and I don't even know if that's consistent with, if I actually test the map, what's it going to be? It's going to be blue eyes or green eyes. I don't know. Let's find out here. Let's see what we got. It was interesting. It changed the icon when I changed it to Reign of Chaos mode, but I don't think it actually changes the unit. Oh, it did in game. Okay. So in game they got blue eyes, but in the editor they got green eyes. That makes even less sense. Okay. I wonder, does the editor do that thing where, like, if I delete him and put him back? Oh, no, okay, the editor just shows them with green eyes. Well, that's pretty weird. So let's make them with purple eyes, you know? We'll be masters of our own destiny. We'll make some really cool elves here. Yeah, I guess maybe what they did is they went to this extra versions thing, and they set that to, like, Reign of Chaos, basically, right? Oh, no, sorry, I accidentally clicked both. Yeah, Reign of Chaos, and then Reign of Chaos, and that didn't even change anything. Yeah, I really don't... Alright, something's weird about the editor here, but definitely looks like it works in-game. So, that being the case, you can tell that we have our blue-eyed versions, but let's assume most people don't make their maps in Reign of Chaos data version. So I'm sure if I set the map version to Frozen Throne and I test it again, now they're going to have green eyes in the game, right? That must be how that is. Let's check it out. Yeah, so now I'm in the game again, and you can see they clearly have green eyes now. So let's give them purple eyes. That just sounds entertaining. We could probably just start with one of them. So how about the Sorceress? Why not? So we're going to go to human here, and I guess actually maybe I'll just use the unit browser. Sorry, I was in the other thing that's kind of slow. So by default, when I open the Sorceress here, looks like Red Order Model Studio opens the one with blue eyes, which is also kind of weird because that's not the one that you normally see in game. I think that's my fault for not parsing the Frozen Throne mode. So if you wanted one or the other, you can go in the data browser to the HD section, to units, human, Sorceress, and you'll see there's two models, Sorceress and Sorceress V1. Sorceress is Reign of Chaos with blue eyes, and Sorceress V1 is Frozen Throne with green eyes. But let's say we want to give it purple eyes because somebody says, you know, oh, I really want my Sorceress to have purple eyes. I think the key to that, here we'll go to, we'll call this the Purple Eye Sorceress. Purple Eye Sorceress model. There we go. So, you know, by default, it doesn't have that. And one of the problems that we have is that we don't really have a good, like, color editing thing here in this program. So we have to export out the textures. And in order to do that, what you can do is you can look through, here's some of the files, and you'll notice the emissive file is the things that glow. And so the upper left-hand corner here is going to be the eyeball, I think. It looks like it to me. And it looks like the eyeball is glowing green. So something really interesting that I'm going to point out here is that you can make the green eyeball, while its diffuse color is green, you could actually make it glow purple, which is weird, right? So we're going to just export this file here. And ideally, you're going to want to change both the glow and the actual physical color of the eyeball. But let's do them both. Let's do one and the other. And let's make a new folder for this thing so we can organize better. I didn't do that at first, but we're doing it now. So this is main underscore emissive. And a lot of times people say PGA is good, PNG is good, TGA is good. You can really edit. And oh, I guess I'm currently don't have TGA in there. That's really silly. All right, we're gonna use PNG. That should work. So that's that is the emissive glowing color. We can go ahead and export the diffuse color to edit that as well, but I don't think we want to edit it initially. So yeah, we'll do that. We've exported it out. Now, looks like my folder browser here hasn't got me to the right place. So we're going to go to Models Requests, and let's actually move the file Yeah, I'll just Control X on it, basically. You know, just put it into this folder, so we have the model and the textures in that same folder. And yeah, then basically what we're going to do is you have to edit the textures for this. The reason you have to edit the text, I'm going to use Paint.net, and there's a lot of other programs you can use. You can use GIMP, you can use whatever, but I'm going to use Paint.net. And so there's the diffuse surface color texture, and then there's the emissive glows texture. And so for the point of example, I really want to edit just the emissive glowing stuff first. So we're just going to make them glow purple. We're going to have a purple eye sorceress on here. Just because I'm kind of curious to see how that looks. I think that'd be kind of fun. So you can save this PNG, but the other thing that we could actually do, and this points out something I should have thought of. I'm kind of in the habit of exporting these things as PNG from the old Warcraft 3, but we probably don't have to do that. I think we can actually export them as DDS here. Let's see. So this is main diffuse. So it doesn't let me export to DDS, and that's a bug in Red Model Studio. So the other thing you can do, if you've already browsed to the folder in the data browser, the data browser gives you direct access export. Essentially, when you export the file, my code doesn't change it, and you'll just be exporting the thing as it was in the original game. So by doing that here, we can overcome the fact that the Red Model Studio has bugs, and it's not properly supporting DDS for like exporting it with its sort of high-level understanding of it as a texture, but I can still export it as just a file, and it's the same as if you used Cask View. So we're going to export that file here, and we're going to, well, I'll just leave the name so we know this is just very much the original diffuse, and here's the emissive, so we'll export like very much the original emissive. So that's a little silly. I shouldn't have made myself do that twice, but by using that as a DDS here, what I can do is basically do the same hue saturation on the actual DDS without, the other one, Red Model Studio program, converted it to a PNG. This one, we didn't do that. It's like a DDS like it had originally been, and hopefully I can just save it. And then you run into the problem of which DXT are you going to do. And somebody was explaining this the other day, and I'm still learning the different DXT variants, because some work in Warcraft 3 and some don't, but I think it needs to be like DXT for sure, and somebody might have said 5 and 3 are like way to go. I think DXT 1 doesn't have alpha, so DXT 3 is what, explicit alpha? Let's go ahead and use 5 because that's what my thing was already on. I probably had it on the right setting, but if it breaks in the game, we'll know that we need to change it. So now we've changed this sorceress to have a custom texture that should make their eyeballs purple. And essentially, to do that, one thing you'll notice is that oh, sorry, I just hit that unmount button here. I wonder if I can like stick that back in there and then stick this one back in there. Yeah, there we go. Alright, sorry, undid that. Yeah, so basically what I was going to try to suggest here is we take the Sorceress emissive thing, this green texture, and we're going to delete the file path off of it so that it would refer to the purple texture. But you don't see it, right? And you're probably wondering, why don't I see it? That's kind of weird. It's because we didn't change what folder the model was open from, right? And it needs to be that same folder. So by saving the model to this folder, now if I click away and click back so it refreshes, you can see it loaded my custom texture in. What we don't see here is interesting, right? The preview of the model in Red Model Studio is incomplete, and the character's eyes are still green because it is only viewing the diffuse textures. So now let's put the character in the game where we'll actually have sort of a complete preview, and we should be able to see these things in that way. So basically we're going to go in here to requests, to the purple eyeball sorceress, and we'll import that in, and we'll also import the texture. So another thing some people have had a problem with is when you import the texture and it starts off at being War 3 map imported and then the file path, that actually won't work unless if your model like matches that, like if your model has War 3 map imported in here, right? Which then that doesn't preview in this thing because that's not the way the file on the hard drive is outside of the map. So the most convenient thing people usually do, right, make sure you delete that. I'm sure that's just a review for some people who have been doing this for 20 years, but for other people who are like new on Reforged, some people were asking about that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to assign our Purple Eye Sorceress model here to the Sorceress character, and what you'll notice immediately is that there is this kind of disconnect that the crystals that are glowing are green crystals that are glowing purple, and her eyes are purple. But we didn't actually change the underlying crystals, so it looks really weird, right? We have these green crystals that glow purple. And I think that's true, though. Like, if we set the preferences to be midnight, right? You can sort of see, do they actually glow? And I think the answer is that they do. It's actually not that dark of a midnight, so it's kind of interesting. But yeah, basically we've made her eyes glow. I wonder if you could see that better in game. So let's check it out. Let's check it out. And here's another problem we're going to have is the portrait model, right? So let's test that. We're probably going to want to see the portrait model. You know, if we're going to the trouble of changing their eyes, we're going to want to see those eyes. I bet right now we're not going to see the eyes because it's probably not going to be a portrait. Yeah, right? Her face doesn't look like as cool as it's supposed to look. So let's fix that. That's also very straightforward to fix. Basically what you do is you go to the Sorceress portrait model file here. And you can see, you know, this one, it has a background plane, so it looks, you know, it's meant to be really fancy. In the previewer here in the editor, right, in Retro Model Studio, sorry, in this program, it doesn't look much better, right? But in the actual game, generally there are some differences between the portrait model and the normal model. So the point I'm trying to make is we just have to go to where it says Sorceress here and delete the path off that. And we don't see it previewed, but that's again because I didn't save as Purple Sorceress Portrait in my folder there. Once this file is saved to that folder, I can click away and click back, and like it'll start previewing this purple texture because it's in that same relative location, right? So now what we're going to do is we're going to import the Purple Eye Sorceress Portrait, and you'll see this will dramatically. Oh, I had an old habit of saving. You don't actually have to save anymore when you're testing these things in the world editor. We used to, you know, 10 years ago or whatever in the old version. Anyway, so now what we're going to see is it's going to have purple eyes in the game in her little portrait face, but the face should look good again like it used to. That we're loading the asset for the animated portrait face down here. There you go. So there's the portrait face with the sort of flashy purple glowing eyes going on. But you might still notice, like, behind the purple eyes, there's still green base color with a purple, you know, this sort of purple glow color applied, right? And that's the same we're seeing on those crystals, that we have, like, green crystals and purple glow color, right? So it's just, again, a simple matter of changing as well as the diffuse texture, also, or as well as the emissive glowing texture, excuse me, that we changed for the eyes. We want to also change the diffuse surface color texture. So this one's obviously a little bit more difficult because we're going to want to actually select, you know, like things by color or something like that. Let's see. And this, I mean, you know, you can use whatever your favorite paint program is for this kind of thing, right? It's just a matter of, like, select things that are green. Some of the programs have, like, a hue saturation by color. In fact, Paint.net that I have here might even have that. I didn't necessarily do my research on that in advance. And sometimes you kind of want to, like, you know, make sure we get the right area there. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. We're getting most of it. I think we're getting most of it. Yeah. Get that little bit there. That's pretty good. This one isn't finished yet. The green is pretty nice, but the little separated corners didn't grab there. I'll just grab the corners, maybe grab more of that one. A little more of that one. Alright, great. This, get that nice little dot there. Oh, don't want to forget that one. Alright, great. So we pretty much selected every one of these green crystal things, and then the point I'm trying to make is we should be able to actually change them to be purple as well. And if you want more coloration or something, you know, you can sort of mess with that. But remember, that's not the glow. That's just the surface texture in the physics-based rendering business. So we're just going to save that. Now we have kind of like purple stuff going on. We'll go ahead and save that. And now that's a modified custom texture. I think it just, hopefully it just figured out that it should still be DXT5 there. So what we didn't do is we didn't go to change in the model. And remember, I'm still in the portrait model here. We didn't change the model's file path here for the diffuse. So we changed that. That shows up. Now you see our edits. So we just got there, and they load in. And now those will preview in here because the diffuse surface texture is the only one that I'm previewing in this little preview for us. So that's kind of nice. You can see that was the portrait face. So then here we have the non-portrait face, the normal one. And we want to change the little in-game world model as well. So then we'll save that. And we'll save the portrait face. That's important to save both of them individually. And then we can just go back in here import our new texture that we made, human sorceress, diffuse next to the emissive, and again we deleted the file path off that, so you can do that. And then along with that, we're going to want to replace our imported model file and replace the imported portrait file. And now, if we test the game, what you should see is a much cleaner base color, because we won't have green and purple clashing. You just have everything is purple now. So hopefully we'll get to see that. Hopefully that's going to look pretty good here. Alright, we got through our automatic pop-up. Yeah, see that? It's a much cleaner, consistent sort of coloration there. And you see it in our eyes too, I think, that now it really kind of looks like it's glowing on top of the correct base color, instead of like some kind of weird thing going on there that wouldn't be how you want. So now we have that. I don't really know if it's very valuable to change the color of that when this character's only an inch tall down there, but it's pretty good for the talking face. That you can see the face down here. It looks good. So if you wanted to save space in your map, right, you could probably also change the face down here without changing the one in the world or something. But I don't know. You never know. Maybe you're going to zoom in. You want to see those purple crystals or something like that. Yeah, so I mean that's pretty much how you change that, and you could do that same process on just about any one of these characters, right? Like if you wanted to, you could change the priest pretty much the same way. Because yeah, pretty much all these things are just going to have an emissive file for their glow and a diffuse file for the surface color, and so it's just a matter of changing them.